I played every Fallout game for the first time ever in 2022. Decided to break into the new year by trying out every game in a new series, and what better way than to play the Elder Scrolls other half, Fallout. I played Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Fallout New Vegas as I decided to finally relent and start suckling on Todd Howard's other nipple as I break my Fallout virginity. Sit back, like, and subscribe if you do enjoy and want to see more videos like this. Let's get started. Starting with Fallout 1, 5 seconds in and I'm already pissed at Fallout with these tiny little buttons that require a damn microscope to select. I decided to roleplay the average American while giving a covert message to my viewers. The character creation screen is pretty dope, with a lot more variety than you would expect. I decided to build a strong, intelligent grease sponge trying to survive the wastes after larfing down one too many street whirls in the vault. After this old JonTron looking ass tells me we need a new water purifier, he decides to send the worst man for the job, although probably me hemorrhaging food reserves after my 5th helping of rat stew. I was not expecting RuneScape to pop up on my screen, but I decided to go with it and I spent an hour memorizing the controls as there is no tutorial whatsoever. The combat is pretty average as it is turn-based. Apparently after humans got exterminated, scorpions started hitting the weights, cause damn they look steroided up, looking like Buzzswole from Pokemon. I finally enter Vault 15 and the secret tunnel. After dropping some rats 6 feet under, I end up fighting this thick monstrosity of a human who got me premium tickets to Juice WRLD's next concert. And I swear to God that mole rat was a bigger nemesis to me than Cupcakes are to EDP. After walking into a group of traders, I realized I had weapons this entire time, so I equipped my Glock and went to find that mole rat for round 2. Not much of a fight now as I stuck the pistol in its mouth and emptied the magazine. I spent hours trying to find a way to the next room. I relented and opened a guide as I apparently needed a rope, which I got from that one town in between the vaults, so I go to Shady Sands, spend another few hours scouring people's bookcases before someone actually stops me from rummaging through their dirty underwear. I make it back to Vault 15, use the rope, and I'm well on my way to progress before I need another rope. What the I came back after my fury subsided the next day, but the footage was corrupted, and I do apologize, although nothing much really happened, except I got a hunting rifle and an Uzi from the 2nd floor, and hired this leather jacket guy to be my companion, as I decided to clear out a cave of rat scorpions for a side quest from the leader of Shady Sands. With my companion, it was pretty easy as I stuck the rifle inside the scorpions and released my load, calmed down Zoophiles. I was talking about the gun. My game kind of bugged out after that as the creepy village leader, who definitely isn't allowed within 8 football fields of a school zone, was supposed to give me another quest but didn't. I decided I've seen enough and ended my stint with the pilot Fallout game. Overall, not what I was expecting, but I felt nostalgic for the RuneScape style battles and graphics. As a role-playing game, it does give you the freedom to customize your character. The world seems empty of NPCs. I know there was an apocalypse where there's like 3 side quests every town. For those of you lacking basic counting skills, the next game on the list is Fallout 2, which is easily my least favorite of the series for a multitude of reasons. The game was still mostly a reskin from the first Fallout game, as we still needed a chemistry PhD and a microscope to select the red buttons. I had this weird character staring right into my souls, looking at every sin I ever committed. I forgot to name my character, so his name was None the entire game. This intro sequence with this old lady who apparently had the Byakugan telling me the village's history. I needed to do a trial to become the village's savior or whatever, which required me to progress through the setting of Indiana Jones's next movie. It served as a tutorial where I learned how to move, attack, interact with skills. I figured out the VAT system, which lets you target a specific body part, a Fallout specialty. I find an unlock pickable door, but I also find a homemade explosive device in one of the pots, so my inner Arab activates and I light up the door. Now, let's get into the worst designed system in the game, the miss system. Most games have a chance for you to miss your attack, and Fallout 2 is no different. The problem is you always miss. Throughout the game, I rarely hit above 40% of my attacks on a good day, and usually end up missing 8 out of 10 on average. Now, some old heads nostalgic for Fallout 2 might say, haha, it's an actual game that doesn't baby you. Deal with it, Zoomer. And that's not really my problem. It isn't how difficult it is. It's because the enemies miss just as much as I do. You literally stay there with your dick in your hands, taking turns missing attacks until one of you gets lucky. This is terrible game design as it it doesn't make the game any harder, just more grindy and annoying. Back to the story, the last JoJo boss of this adventure is a tribesman of mine, and you could use your intelligence to convince him to let you pass, but I decide to give him that Thanksgiving dinner and knock him out harder than overdosing on melatonin. Eventually, I become the new Vault Dweller as I meet with old Hinata, who gives me a quest to find Vault 13. After robbing half the village, I ran into the village crackhead, who wanted me to kill invasive plants. I agreed and suffered my first death as I killed the first one, but the second one was super nice and it actually sent me to get my jersey autographed by Kobe Bryant himself. I get my revenge though as I clobber the plant before I run into some dudes to do some training for my skills, until this one guy says he wants me to go save his dog from gecko-infested meadows. I say I'm the chosen one and this is a waste of time, before he says I'll just go myself, and I chase after him until I find him knocked 6 feet under by just one wild ghetto. Pretty much natural selection. I continue the main quest and cross the bridge into the new world and decide to make my way to the trader in Kalamoth. I get there and I explore the town a little bit where some kids run away from me screaming boogeyman, and I couldn't find the trader. I decide I'm done with Fallout 2. Honestly, it isn't the worst game, but it just seemed so similar to Fallout 1 gameplay-wise. It was kind of like just a continuation of that game in a way. The combat system was screwed with all the missing, and that was probably the biggest reason I didn't like the game as much. Honestly, the story might have saved it, but I wasn't about to invest 40 hours per game during college exam season to deep dive these games. The only good thing I can say about it is the town seemed a lot more vibrant than Fallout 1. Fallout 3 was the first real modern Fallout RPG, and it started off with a cool scene showing the destruction of the nuclear war. You are born after this really cool creative intro scene, and you got to pick your character, make your name. They even had this machine where they claimed it could show who you'd look like in the future, but it was just a creative way to show your character creation screen. A submissive lifer for $5 is what he called me, which, hey, I'm not the one who named myself, alright? Calm down, guys. I decided to go as a female this time. My mom ends up dying on the ICU, which does kind of suck. After that, we fast forward 1 year later and the creativity continues as the game teaches me the fundamental mechanics, with the dad teaching me, the baby, let's go, to walk, and then I open the nursery, go to a picture book which explains all my special stats and lets me assign them. The immersion is on point. 9 years later, I get to my first birthday party, as this girl is really nice to me, whereas this biker gang wannabe are only there for the free cake. My dad takes me downstairs to meet Jonas, my dad's assistant, who teaches me to shoot guns as I take on a roach so big that I wouldn't be surprised if the survivors of the nuclear fallout decided to off themselves instead of having to deal with this monstrosity. Finally, we jump to my Sweet 16, where the bullies actually form a biker gang, calling themselves the biggest gang of Vault 11, which, I mean, come on, there's like 10 people total here. Do you mean biggest gang of Vault 11? A big theme of this game shows itself being the ability for me to pick two sides to every quest. I could help Hinata from the bullies, or I could literally call her a fat and ugly pig and help the bullies. We got to take a test where it selected your 3 main skills, although you could change them afterwards, and I got pedicurist. Oh my god. And 3 years later, Amata wakes me up and says my dad ducked the feds and escaped across the border of North Korea, and the overseer, like North Korea, took it out on my dad's assistant Jonas and was coming for me next. She gave me the Glock because you know she was never caught lacking heat, on the condition I don't kill her dad, and I make my escape after getting some supplies. After sending Officer Kendall for an exclusive interview with the people who question Joseph Stalin, Butch asked me to help his mother being attacked by 3 rad roaches. I tell him to piss off and do it himself, until I get flashbacks to Fallout 2, and chased after him only to find that Butch don't need no strap to deal with roaches, as he killed them all by himself. Eventually, I get to this mom and son duo trying to escape themselves, and dying damn near immediately, which was pretty hilarious. Surprisingly, if you jump out ahead and kill the guards before they make their attempt, they disappear from the game, which means they got out, right Todd? I Glock a roach with my VAT system, which is much improved in this game, and I get to the overseer who's interrogating his own daughter. I try to get the password, but he wasn't giving it to me, so I remembered what Amata said to me before. Get ready to and put his face on a shirt. I took the password off his corpse, and Amata is understandably pissed at me while I open the door. I make some Black Lives Matters protesters orgasm by killing a few more feds and enter the world of Fallout 3. As I make my way to the first big town to look for my daddy, I see some raiders, and together with other good guys, I Jose Bautista their heads off with a baseball bat. I enter Fallout's version of Whiterun and meet the sheriff, who tells me not to do anything evil and that there might possibly potentially be a maybe unexploded nuclear bomb in the middle of the town of Megaton. Spoiler alert, the nuke can be detonated or defused depending on how evil you want to be, but there is a karma system that influences how the world will view you, with low enough karma meaning everyone's gonna hate you and might even attack you. Anyways, the reason I say that now is because by detonating the nuke, you immediately get negative 1,000 karma. Yikes. In any case, I made a dad old friend. Speech skill wasn't high enough, so he wanted to extort money from a local crackhead that owns him. So I go to the heroin addict and put on my best loan shark impression and took her remaining life savings, probably forcing her to get a ticket to the Squid Game. I come back and yeah, what is that? What is wrong with your face? Looking like something out of The Walking Dead. You look like your body thought you died, so it started decomposing, with you still alive inside of it. Finally, my dad's friend told me he went to Galaxy News, and I made that my next stop. First, I decided to get some equipment from the store run by Moira, who is the craziest person in this entire series. She wants me to help her with the survival book, which, okay, fair enough, I'll agree, like the inbred I am. I decided to scavenge for food first, which led me to a bandit hideout. I got myself a laser pistol, which I stuck in the bandit's face and unloaded the clip. Next up, Nanny McPhee's deranged sister wanted me to go to the minefield. The minefield killed me 3 times, and me forgetting to save every time meant I had to travel that entire distance back, and in the minefield there was also a sniper holding the position, which I subsequently killed for his sniper rifle. Finally, the crazy redhead stereotype who tells me to get myself irradiated for the last mission, which I do because it's not the craziest thing she told me to do at this point, and I get irradiated and finally complete her quests. For the first chapter. Nah, I'm not doing another one. Find some other sucker for your twisted book. In all honesty, this is a great starting side quest to get some early equipment and to show you some practice with different mechanics like minefield and irradiation and such. I buy my items and head to the subway station. After shooting through some ghouls, I come to the other side and am attacked by some orcs, but I meet Sentinel Lyones of the Brotherhood of Steel with awesome power armor that I can't put on because I need the power armor training perk. In any case, we team up to relieve the siege of Galaxy News by the super mutants as we flank them, hit it from the backside, and we slow motion walk up, stick the barrel to the eye socket, and let the chamber loose. Finally, there was a massive tit milk drinking Skyrim giant looking ass behemoth who literally ragdolled me like he was playing with a Barbie doll. I get to 3Dog who wants me to do a quest to continue on the main story, and I decided to call it quits there as I continued with a couple side quests with the ending of me launching a nuke on Megaton, which was pretty fun honestly as my social credit score decreased to dangerous levels, and instead of having to face the CCP on my tail, I decided that was enough and moved on to Fallout New Vegas. Now, being a spin-off game, I really didn't have too high hopes for this game, as it seemed like a reskin of Fallout 3. Not the worst thing, as my favorite Assassin's Creed ever was Rogue, which was a reskin of Black Flag essentially, so I decided to give this game a chance with tempered expectations. And it was a certified hood classic. By far the best Fallout game I have played on this journey. This game was so good, I had to postpone this video another week because I didn't want to stop playing this game. This game was a masterpiece, and I don't throw that term around lightly. It is right now a top 5 game I've ever played behind Black Ops 1, Skyrim, Civilization 5, and Borderlands 2. The story was intriguing, and every mission had like 4 to 5 different endings, depending on how you progress. With all the factions to choose from and all the different endings, this was by far my favorite Fallout game ever. A beautiful opening sequence starts the main story as I was caught lacking by this dude named Benny, who sent me to apologize on behalf of the human species to Harambe. Afterwards, a doctor revives me after a cowboy bot found me 6 feet under. Should have kept me there considering I lost to a dude named Benny. In any case, like Fallout 3, it was a pretty creative character creation screen, and after that I was sent to meet Sunny Smiles, and my simping kicks into overdrive as I agree to help hunt some geckos after she teaches me how to shoot a gun, which I probably need considering Benny stuck one in my cranium. After ragdolling some geckos, I collect some herbs, come home, and this Joe Cobb looking ass threatens the town under my watch. As I was about to put my Sunny Smiles, Sunny Knockout practice to work, he goes away and Trudy tells me if I side with the Ups, the town will hate me, but if I side with the town, they'll love me. It's pretty much the formula of the entire game, multiple different endings to each side quest. I do the quest, get the town ready for war as they come into my hood thinking they'd have an easy time, and me and the boys and the ladies think they look sick, so we inject some lead into them to help them feel better. I'm sent to my next objective in search of a platinum chip Benny stole off my corpse in a town where the sheriff is captured and the raiders have taken over. The courier manager tells me some info about Benny. Before I leave, I help the sheriff escape, and I enter the final room where there are 10 enemies waiting for me. After getting trapped harder than finding out the girl I've been seeing has a penis, I get sent to help Steve Irwin on his next wildlife documentary. Next time I realize I have a grenade rifle as a starting weapon, so I throw some bombs as I find a flamethrower, which is now my new main weapon, as I make some barbecue raider on my escape with the sheriff. I hear some gunshots and find out that the Legion and NCR had a firefight, 2 factions in this game. I quick save and decide fuck it. I make myself some broiled NCR, where I get some bad relations with the NCR, which won't come back to bite me in the future. I get to my next objective, which is a small town where I get a pit stop, sleep for some health, and climb up a giant dinosaur where I ask this guy Manny, who tells me he'll tell me where Benny went if I clear out some ghouls in a nearby facility. Now, I'm gonna take a moment to pause this quest to show you the real mastery of Fallout New Vegas. This quest has you travel to find a cult of ghouls who want to travel on a rocket ship to salvation, and a confused regular human who thinks he's a ghoul, hitting up with that Vicky from Dr. Phil type energy. Now, I could kill all the ghouls and be done with it, or I could help them kill all the night skins in the basement, which I could then either kill or help those night skins by going ahead and convincing this ghoul to leave the last room they're searching for their night vision goggles in. But that ghoul also wants my help, and I could either decide to kill him, or I could go ahead and try to find his missing friend. This game has so many branching paths, even though they're all essentially the same. I could either kill one faction or help them with their next quest, which will end up giving me more experience. Eventually, I do end up doing this quest. After some fetch quests to launch their ship, I can break the news to the scientist who made the suicide mission possible. I tell him he isn't actually a ghoul and he wants to get revenge on the ghouls, and I can decide to help him or stop him. I finally launch the last button as I either see the mission succeed or fail. An amazing side quest design in my opinion, and unlike Telltale, the choices actually matter, and this is exactly what makes Fallout New Vegas so great. In any case, Manny tells me that he went that way as the NCR soldiers I killed earlier sent a hit squad after me. This random dude comes up and talks to me about some special collector's caps or something like that, and I'm like, man, I'm in the middle of something. I kill everyone, get to Boulder City where they trap the gang Benny hired to help him, and I can either go in guns blazing or try to negotiate for my platinum chip I'm looking for. Either way, they die as the army lieutenant has orders to exterminate them, but I don't care, to be honest, about Fallout 4's war crimes against humanity, and I get to New Vegas. I need a passport, so I buy one from one of the shady weapons dealers and use it to finally enter New Vegas proper. As I prepare for my JoJo showdown with Benny, I finally get to the fucker and demand we go to a private room to make sweet, sexy sorry, wrong script, so we can talk and discuss things. Now, if your speech skill isn't high enough, he'll actually escape and trick you, and you have to track him down all over again, but in any case, I get him to come alone, and he tries to convince me to join him. And the receptionist did take my gun, so I had to use a knife, but I was attacking so fast, I was hitting him with that 8 trigram 64 palm smash. This dude is dead before he could do anything. I put on a suit, take his gun, and walk out with my nuts so large, dragging him across the floor as no one stops me from going to Benny's suite, where I meet the bot who explains everything to me and all the options I have on the fate of New Vegas. But the main story, you can choose one of these factions. You can help Benny take control of New Vegas with the platinum chip, take control of New Vegas yourself with the platinum chip, help Mr. House, the leader of New Vegas, renew his hold on the city, or join the Romans, legions, or the NCR, and this is where I decided to end the game. Only ended here because I want to make another video with a deep dive on just New Vegas in the future, because trust me, he is that guy, pal. So definitely subscribe if you don't want to miss out. New Vegas was by far the best Fallout game I played, a certified banger of a game that took the base of Fallout 3 and added a Wild West tone with a great environment, in-depth quests, a giant assortment of guns, and a great main story. Still no sprint button though. In any case, for those of you sick of me deep-throating New Vegas like Riley Reid, let's move on to the final game, Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is the most modern game of the Fallout series. We go through a good opening sequence as we close into me narrating the intro, and then I get to decide how I look. I decide to bring out All Reliable to get the few of you who haven't subbed into my pocket. I eventually go to Sean, the baby.
Let's go.
before meeting my robot butler. Afterwards, the dish soap salesman comes knocking, telling me to fill out our vault applications, which is another way for me to pick my special stats. Eventually, the news lets loose that New York has been nuked, and we were lucky the couch cushion salesman was there when he was, as we make a mad dash for the vault. We get to the platform, and just as we enter, our city is nuked, and we survive by mere seconds. We enter the lab, but instead of making mixtapes, we put on some jumpsuits, as I call it the second we enter the vault that we'd actually be cryo-slept in ice, and that is exactly what happens. Afterwards, some dudes awaken us and steal the baby before they decide to shoot their shot with my wife in a worse way than you could imagine when hearing that phrase. I awaken sometime later and start the game by promising vengeance, being the only survivor left in the vault as there is finally a sprint button in this game. I grab a Glock before opening a door. Finally, I kill the roaches and enter the outside for the first time. The level up screen is much better as I can now see what I need for the late game perks, and the reason there were so few special points was because I can use my skills to give myself more special points. I finally go back home and find my robot butler Codsworth as he ignores me, telling him my wife dies before he breaks down. Not as bad as he broke down the Gyno Bees though, as he was putting in that work during that first quest. He tells me I'm about 200 years past my wake-up time, and tells me to go to Concord, where I get my first companion, the Doggo. I get to Concord as the last Minuteman tells me his group are the few remaining survivors of a massacre, and they need to help escape the bandit predicament they are in. The plan we have is me getting a power armor suit early game after retrieving a power core from the basement, ripping out a minigun from the helicopter nearby, and letting it rip like a Beyblade on the bandits and this giant Deathclaw in the early game. The settlers decide to go to Sanctuary and are an actual faction I can help, but I decide to go to Diamond City, which is the game's Whiterun. I get to a gas station, find some thugs harassing a shop owner, tell them to drop their guns, they comply, tell them to give me their stimulus check, they comply, and then I tell them to just go away, and that's when they're like, oh, you've done it now, pal, before getting doggy-styled by my companion Dogmeat. I get a new shop to buy stuff from, so that mission was pretty cool. I get a distress call and decide to help him out. In previous iterations, ghouls were not that scary, but here they just jump around, fall down, get back up, sprint, making them one of the scariest enemies of all time. I felt like I was playing Until Dawn against these guys. I help Dance, the Brotherhood of Steel's leader, clear some ghouls before I decide to join him to find some technology to fix their radio, as I steal this dude's medicine he clearly needs, and make off. We get into an institute, which is the third faction's building, kill some robots, and learn how to hack as I fry Dance along with the other robots, while I watch safe in my bunker. Finally, we get the chip we need as I get invited to the Brotherhood proper, and we get back to the stations where I do a couple more quick missions. I help Diamond City guards against some super mutants and decide to check out how strong they really are. Spoiler alert, they're super monsters, as they send me to go meet Hades. I go to the other main quest location searching for the lost team of the previous expedition for the Brotherhood of Steel, and it really isn't my favorite quest as it is just me finding the group members one by one, following vague distress signals after picking it up, finding out the squad is dead one by one while playing Ring Around the Rosie with this one mutant, until I get to the Captain Paladin Brandis, who I convince I'm actually searching for him on behalf of the Brotherhood, and he decides to let me steal his life savings, but refuses to come back to the Brotherhood. I do some more side quests for the Minutemen, which takes me to this couple in the woods, who tell me some raider loan sharks think it's payday, and so I decide to pay him in lead, as I exterminate an entire camp with Codsworth, who is a menace. I spend 2 hours trying to get up to the bandit boss until I realize that I have to hit this button for the ledge to slowly, comically go out and connect to where the other bandits are, whereas they can only watch as I was about to penetrate their insides with lead. I then help the Minutemen make their home base in a Walmart parking lot, as the create your own base mechanic is kind of cool, but I'm really not that type of gamer. Let's continue with the main mission. I get to Diamond City where this Lois Lane wannabe is trying to enter after she was kicked out for criticizing the mayor for all the kidnappings he is apparently ignoring. Eventually, she tells me to find Detective Valentine, who has been missing for weeks after investigating a missing persons case. I move out to save him as I enter a subway vault and take out this gang of Al Capone wannabes, before stealing their Uzis. Me and the detective eventually get to the door before the final boss, Al Capone, and I decided we need some heat for this, and I still had the minigun locked and loaded. Apparently Darla, the missing woman who's the entire reason the detective came down here to this vault in a subway, ran away winningly with Skinny Malone. Skinny's pretty ironic, man. After one dialogue option, I convinced her to leave the love of her life behind. I guess I am the main character, so that does kind of make sense. After the cockblock of the century, Skinny Capone got mad, I cockblocked him harder than LeBron blocked Iguodala in 2016, and he gave us 10 seconds to leave before he fired. Detective Valentine was eager to get out there as he was terrified, and what they both failed to realize is that I had a minigun, and while I would have killed the gangsters anyway for the nice hat and Uzi ammo, now I had to do it, so I unloaded the military helicopter grade ammo and ripped the gang's leadership to shreds. After a session with Dr. Valentine, I figure out my son's kidnapper was named Kellogg, who honestly, it's even worse to lose my wife to this guy than to get killed by a dude named Benny. So we go to search for Kellogg's Frosted Flakes house, but I need the key from the mayor. After the secretary roasted Piper, she came right back and ended her life with a flamethrower. Eventually, I threatened the mayor's toes for the keys to the kidnapper's house, and me and the detective find the secret tunnel as we get some nice goodies and take the Kellogg's cigarette. This detective as my companion before I call my dog to come sniff out Kellogg's cereal, as on the way we get to the biggest crossover of the century as I channel my inner Michael Vick and watch the dogfight. But this is where I started running into massive bugs, like a very minimized UI. Eventually I got to a point where I couldn't run as my game was permanently stuck on the slow walk mode, which killed my experience, and I decided to end Fallout 4 after this. Gameplay-wise, Fallout 4 was definitely the best game. The gunplay was smooth, and the variety of weapons, new perk trees, and customizable armor made me have a lot of fun with this game. The loading screens were bad though, as it took forever to load a room even if I just exited it. All in all, despite these shortcomings, Fallout 4 was a great game, which deserved the Game of the Year award it got, as everything except the RPG aspects were golden, and despite the many bugs, I'm sure a modded playthrough would make this game a lot better, especially with a couple graphics mods packed on, yeesh. But let me know down below your favorite Fallout game or even Fallout moment, and please let me know what series you guys want to see next. Had a lot of fun making this video, and I would love to make more. As always, like and subscribe if you did enjoy to not miss out on future content. At the end, I would rank them in this order: Fallout New Vegas, Giant Chasm, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout 1, and Fallout 2. In any case, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.